Yes. Okay. In fact, more breaking developments now coming in that we're tracking for our viewers. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said Israel is backing strong U.S. action in Venezuela. He said the Israeli government is supporting Washington's decision. The statement comes a day after U.S. forces abducted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
לגבי ונצואלה, אני רוצה להביע את תמיכת הממשלה כולה בהחלטה הנחושה והפעולה הנחושה של ארצות הברית להחזיר חירות וצדק גם לאזור הזה של העולם. אני חייב להגיד שבכלל באמריקה הלטינית כרגע יש מהפך שאנחנו רואים אותו בכמה וכמה מדינות שחוזרות לציר האמריקני.
Pramit Pal Chaudhary is live with us on this big story. Pramit, we were of course, we heard certain statements and reactions which obviously were pretty critical of the US's intervention there in Venezuela. However, Israel firmly backing this US strike. Israeli PM saying this was the need of the hour.
Well, I don't think that's a surprise. Many of the governments, especially right-wing governments around the world, for example, Meloni in Italy, and even some of them in Latin America and Chile and so on, have expressed support, or at least couched their term as not being critical of the action, but just saying that we hope that we stand with the Venezuelan people and not citing the question of international law at all. So I would expect, for example, also in the Middle East, a number of governments to come out and say we don't really have a problem with any of this. Ultimately, most of these governments fully recognize that their statements will have zero impact on policy in the United States or anywhere else in the world for that matter. Trump is an isolationist. He's very much a unilateralist, and America is simply too powerful. And he has made it very clear, if you read the national security strategy that was announced, if you look at the statements made by himself and by members of his inner circle, they see the Western Hemisphere as America's complete domain. That this includes Canada, this includes Latin America, and of course, as you know, they have a continuing battle over the question of Greenland. That the Western Hemisphere will be America's. America has always been dominant, obviously, in that area, but they now see this almost in terms of an imperialist way. He is very much as a number of American political scientists have pointed out, he's a 19th century Republican. He comes from America that was effectively isolationist. He has also made it very clear that he supports right-wing regime change, not necessarily, obviously, by military extraction, but even in places like Europe, that parties that support his anti-immigrant, white, Christianized concept of nationalism, that these are governments that America would actively support to come to power, both in Europe and Latin America. So this is the America that we're going to be facing in many ways, similar to China now. It will be two superpowers who will effectively seek very naked self-interest and use of power in that, because there, as the ambassadors correctly said, the post-World War II international system has basically completely fallen apart now. There is no supporter or strong enough supporter for the multilateral system anymore. So in that case, if you're a superpower, you will exert your muscles in any way you wish. We're also seeing, however, is that even tier 2 powers like Russia invading Ukraine, Israel attacking Gaza, we're now seeing the UAE and Saudi Arabia fighting with each other in a number of proxy wars. Now they are also exerting their power because they don't need to worry about any international or superpower intervention against them. So that's going to be the nature of the world we're going to be facing. Yes. And Maduro's extraction just fits into that sort of behavior.
In fact, after Netanyahu, it's the government of the Republic of Somaliland affirming its